Okay, picture this. You've poured your heart, your soul, and frankly, a good chunk of your budget into building the absolute most beautiful, state-of-the-art website in your entire industry. We're talking great products, a super sleek design, a flawless user experience, the whole shebang. But there's one massive problem. Absolutely no one is visiting it. It's literally like building a luxury storefront right in the middle of a deserted wasteland. Well, welcome to this explainer, because today we are going to fix exactly that. You probably already know the basics of digital marketing, but right now we are unlocking the ultimate blueprint for digital visibility. We're talking about search engine optimization. To completely demystify this, we're going to use a really simple roadmap today. First, the foundation. Second, the blueprint. Third, the interior and plumbing. Fourth, the neighborhood reputation. And lastly, the inspection. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the foundation, search engines and SEO basics. So before we can even think about building our digital house, we really need to understand what we're building it on. Now, you've probably heard the textbook definition of SEO, but the absolute key phrase here, the one you need to remember, is free organic visibility. Because the goal isn't just to get random junk traffic. The goal is to attract a highly targeted audience, build real trust, and generate actual sales or leads without paying a single dime for ads. Truly, organic traffic is the holy grail of digital marketing. But how do search engines actually know your shiny new site even exists? Well, they use a strict chronological procedure driven by this massive hidden machinery. Think of them as an army of little digital inspectors, bots or spiders. Step 1 is crawling. These bots literally scour the internet just to discover your web pages. Step 2 is indexing. Once they find your content, they file that information away in a massive global database. And finally, step 3 is ranking. When someone actually types in a search, Google sifts through that massive index in milliseconds and decides which web pages should appear first based on relevance and quality. And considering Google discovers billions of pages a day, passing this inspection efficiently is absolutely everything. Moving right along to Section 2, the blueprint, keywords and search intent. Now that our foundation is rock solid, let's get into the planning phase. Because honestly, before you swing a hammer, you need a blueprint. Notice how the language people actually use online breaks down into two very distinct categories. You've got short-tail keywords and long-tail keywords. Short-tail ones are super broad, like searching for just shoes or laptops. Sure, they get a massive amount of traffic, but the competition is incredibly, intensely fierce. On the flip side, you have long-tail keywords. These are highly specific. Think best gaming laptops under 1,000 euros. Now, while fewer people search for that exact lengthy phrase, the competition is significantly lower. And the best part? The conversion rates are so much higher. Why? Because a user typing out that incredibly specific phrase knows exactly what they want to buy. They are ready to go. Which actually brings us to a really fascinating psychological pivot. Forget the specific words for just a second. Ask yourself, why do we actually type things into Google in the first place? What's the underlying goal of the person sitting behind that keyboard? The answer is search intent, and let me tell you, modern SEO revolves entirely around it. There are basically 4 main types to keep in mind. First, informational. The user just wants knowledge. They're asking things like, what is SEO? Second, navigational. They want to find a specific place, like just typing YouTube login to get there fast. Third, transactional. This is the sweet spot. They have their credit card out, they're ready to buy, frantically searching buy iPhone online before their current phone literally dies in their hands. And fourth, commercial investigation. They want to buy soon, but they're still comparing options. Think best laptops for students. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that to rank well, your content must precisely, accurately answer the user's specific why. Let's move to Section 3, the interior and plumbing. This is on-page and technical SEO. Okay, so our blueprint is drafted. Now it's time to build out the inside of your website. Here is your ultimate on-page SEO checklist. And the great thing is, these are the elements you directly control to ensure everything is perfectly tuned for both human visitors and those little search engine bots. First, your title tag. It needs to be clear, it needs to be clickable, and it has to include your target keywords. Next, your URL structure. Keep it short and readable, like yourwebsite.com/SEO course. No weird strings of numbers. Also, your content needs to be logically organized with headings, H1 for the main title, logically followed by H2s and H3s. And don't forget this, even your images need optimizing. Remember, search engines can't actually see pictures, so you have to give them proper file names, descriptive alt text, and you've got to compress them so they load fast. But look, beautiful interior design doesn't mean a thing if the pipes are leaking, right?
That is technical SEO, the plumbing of your website. Search engines ruthlessly prioritize performance. If your website's speed is crawling or if it isn't mobile-friendly, users are going to bounce immediately, and Google will drop your rank like a stone. You absolutely need HTTPS security too. Then, behind the walls, you need tools like an XML sitemap to help search engines understand your site's structure and a robots.txt file to tell those bots exactly what they should and shouldn't be crawling. Oh, and please, fix those broken links. Literally nothing ruins a user's experience faster than hitting a dead-end 404 error page.
Now, depending on your business, you might need some very specific room types in your digital house. If you run a physical brick-and-mortar business, say a cozy coffee shop in Helsinki, local SEO is your best friend. You need to heavily optimize your Google business profile, gather local reviews, and make sure you appear on maps. But if you run an online store, e-commerce SEO takes priority. That requires deep optimization of product keywords, category pages, and highly detailed product descriptions to seamlessly guide buyers right to the checkout line.
All right, on to Section 4, the neighborhood reputation. Let's talk off-page SEO.
Okay, your house is built, it's lightning fast, it looks incredible, but guess what? We're still not done. You see, building a great house isn't quite enough. Other trusted people in the neighborhood actually need to be talking about it. The currency of your digital reputation is backlinks. A backlink is simply a link from another website that points directly back to yours. Search engines view these as massive digital votes of confidence. If highly trusted websites, popular industry blogs, or major news sites link to you, Google sees that as a huge signal of authority and boosts your ranking. But a word of warning here, it's all about quality, not just quantity. Spammy links from low-quality, shady sites can and will actively harm your hard-earned reputation.
Which brings us to the classic hero versus villain dynamic of the SEO world. Over on the left, we have White Hat SEO. These are the ethical, Google-approved methods. Think creating high-quality, genuinely original content and earning natural backlinks. On the right, though, is Black Hat SEO. These are manipulative, sneaky tricks like keyword stuffing or hiding text by making it the exact same color as a background, or just straight up buying spam links. Listen to me very closely. Trying to trick the search engine inspectors with Black Hat tactics might actually work for a day or two, but it will inevitably lead to severe and sometimes permanent Google penalties. Just don't do it. Always wear the white hat. And finally, Section 5, the inspection. Analytics and what the future holds. We've reached the final phase of our build. Every house needs constant maintenance, and in the world of SEO, that means you have to measure your success. Let's start by looking at this number, 1. Why are we going through all of this relentless work? Because ranking on the first page and specifically securing that number 1 spot is the ultimate goal. The vast majority of users never even click past the top few results. In fact, the top 3 spots grab over half of all the clicks. If you aren't up there, you are essentially invisible. So to climb to that top spot, you have to measure everything. Professionals track critical metrics every single day. We're talking overall organic traffic, keyword rankings, your click-through rate, and your bounce rate. Again, that's how often people land on your site and immediately leave without clicking anything. To monitor all this, we rely on a stack of seriously powerful inspector tools. Google provides the absolute essentials for free, like Google Analytics and Search Console. And for deep competitive research, the industry standards are platforms like Ahrefs and SEMrush. Data is your absolute best friend here, so lean into it with total confidence. Now, we can't talk about SEO without talking about where it's going, because the landscape is evolving incredibly fast. Modern SEO now has to constantly account for artificial intelligence. We are looking at a world of AI-generated content, the massive explosion of voice search, and semantic search, where Google focuses deeply on the overall helpfulness, user satisfaction, and the demonstrated expertise of a page. Because of all this added complexity, SEO has become one of the most highly valued, sought-after digital marketing skills on the planet. It is spawning massive, incredibly lucrative career opportunities right now, from technical SEO experts to content strategists and high-level digital marketing managers. So, there you have it. We've laid the foundation, we've drafted the blueprint, we installed the plumbing, and we've built a stellar neighborhood reputation. The mechanics of getting organic visibility are no longer a secret to you. But as search algorithms and AI continue to evolve at lightning speed, increasingly prioritizing high-quality, genuinely helpful content, the real question I want to leave you with is this. How will you build your digital blueprint to ensure your website isn't just a lonely storefront in the desert, but the absolute busiest building on the block? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Get out there, start optimizing, and I'll catch you next time.